I've been waiting for you.
Hello everybody, it's BYG Agami back with another video, and I got a quick discussion for you guys regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, and it's about the second in command for the Knights of Hanoi, Specter, the man that we know little information about, who's very mysterious because, as I'm going to list down the characters for VRAINS, we've gotten a decent amount of information about them. Dr. Kogami, we do know that he could possibly be Revolver's father, that he could possibly have created Ignis along with the 5 other AIs, and he could possibly be the person that sold technology, the chess pieces we're talking about in episode 10. They were talking about how there's only one person that could possibly do this, and they said that could be, and then it was ... They never told us who it could have been. And also, Revolver, we know what he's after. We know his motives. Well, we don't know fully what he's after in detail, but we do know his motives. That was shown in episode 3. We're going to be figuring out a lot about him in episode 11 because through the summary, it states that he is going to be spoiling something to Yusaku, and then Yusaku has such an insane reaction. Yusaku Fujika, we know his motives. We know a good amount about him. Aoi Zaizen, Blue Angel, Akira, we know somewhat about their backstory. Gohan Izuka, we know about his backstory and his motives. It's just everyone except for the chess pieces, which we don't know about, but they're going to be shown later down the line, alright? It makes sense because they're the higher ups in Soul Technologies. But for the Knights of Hanoi, the 3 members that we know, Dr. Kogami, Revolver, and then the man himself, Specter. He's the only one we don't know about, and if you guys look at the opening of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, it shows him with a lot of Knights of Hanoi member. He seems very menacing. He has that very intimidating face, like he has a lot of schemes that he's willing to plan, but there's maybe someone in the way, which could be Revolver himself. Now, the only time we actually got to see Specter do something somewhat important to the plot is when he was the one that planted that little virus inside Aoi's mind by giving her that card, and he just sort of slipped it while she was in Link VRAINS attempting to duel Playmaker, or searching for him, or rather calling him out, and that's about it. And if you look at the cast list that we've gotten so far for VRAINS, he hasn't appeared in this episode, nor is he going to appear in the next episode, if I recall correctly, episode 11. So what does that mean? That means that they're opening, or well rather saving something for Specter. That means that he has an importance, but it's not yet. It's not shown yet. They're building him up. Well, they haven't been building him up in terms of the plot, but they're just putting him on the sidelines until I believe that this Yusaku versus Revolver duel, once Revolver's out of the picture, once Revolver wins, maybe there's something where Specter comes in and he becomes the leader of the Knights of Hanoi. Maybe Specter has some sort of motive which he needs Revolver. He needs him for a little bit, right? Because Specter does look like a little snake in the grass. And if you guys are fans of MMA, then you know that. You know who said it, the Notorious. But Specter himself hasn't done anything important. It just seems that he's obeying Revolver. And of course you're going to obey the master. You're going to obey the leader. But there has to be a time where you state your own mind, where you state your own opinion rather. And that hasn't been shown for Specter. And what that just gives me is that he's really sucking up to Revolver. He's trying to get him on the good side, which is shown. And I think as time goes on and time progresses, and Specter does actually get done with using Revolver, he's gonna take him out of the way. He's gonna knock Revolver out of his leadership, which is being the leader of the KOH. And then once Revolver's out, then he has full control and he can plot his schemes from there. Now, what could his schemes be? So Revolver and Specter have had to meet in the past. They have to share the same goals, which is destroying Link VRAINS, hating the internet, and having a realization of what life is supposed to be and really enjoy the real world. And if they do share that same motive, then of course they're working together, because if Specter was with the Revolver for those 5 years, that's a long time, and he seems like a very patient dude. And once he knocks him out, maybe he is after his motive, which could possibly be something like destroying Link VRAINS, because Revolver did state in one of the episodes that he had the ability to destroy Link VRAINS whenever he wanted. Maybe that was just to show that he's intimidating and that he has the ability to knock it out, to get rid of that system and basically show Soul Technology that they ain't shit. But I believe that he, of course, you know, the writers are trying to convey that he's a badass, that he is a force to be reckoned with. But at the same time, he needed Link VRAINS because he needed to get the AI, Ignis, and he was possibly waiting until the right time to do so, and this is the right time. I guarantee you, after, if Yusaku does lose, then he's probably going to knock out Link VRAINS. And maybe from there, Revolver is dethroned of his leadership, and then Specter can capitalize on what he wants and what his goals are. Now, I want you guys to comment your theories down below on what his goals could be, because the only thing I can literally think of is that he wants to destroy Cyverse, or he wants to destroy Link VRAINS, because if Revolver and Specter along with Dr. Kogami are working together in the Knights of Hanoi, the members themselves, then they have to have the same sort of motive. They have to have the same sort of mindset in order to do something like this. And he also has to have, just to mention this, alright, if he's waited 5 years, because just from what's been shown, the fact that there's already been so much information about Revolver being shown, and they've already had a duel that's literally supposed to be a final battle level, like it fits the final battle of each arc criteria, the duel that Yusaku and Revolver are having. I mean, 5-episode long duel, a lot of suspense is going on, the world seems like it's gonna end, which is the case. I mean, there's so much more that's going on. The protagonist is backed up in a corner, and he has to conquer that. That is shown in episode 10. I mean, Fire Prison literally destroyed all of the Cyverse monsters. Of course, the narrator at the end of the preview states that they're still alive, that they're still intact, but Ignis is gone as well. So there's just a lot at stake for Yusaku. So the criteria is fit there for this final battle, and it seems that with this, Yusaku and Revolver, their story arc is going to be put on the side after this. Whoever the victor might be, which I think is probably going to be Revolver or something like that, because, as I said, the facts are all pointing towards him. But if Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS does the whole typical Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is, I am the protagonist, I must believe in myself and draw this one card and win the duel, which could be the case, and Revolver is knocked out, because, as I said before, so much is getting revealed about Revolver within the first 10 episodes. The leader should be the one that's not being shown at first. He's not being shown with all this information, or well, rather revealed about him, all this information, his motives. Now, there's no way in heck that you can convince me that the second in command should not be the person in Revolver's position. Yusaku should be versing Specter before he's versing Revolver, because it just makes more sense to me in a typical story, because the boss, the main man of the arc, the final battle, the leader of a group, for this instance the Knights of Hanoi, should be the final boss battle. And usually for Yu-Gi-Oh! An arc tends to be around, 30 to 40 episodes? And if a duel on this level is already happening within the first 10 episodes, then that means there's something up, there's something hidden. There's a hidden agenda in VRAINS, which could be that Yusaku is dueling Specter at the end. That Specter is most likely the final boss battle of this arc, that he could be the leader of the Knights of Hanoi, which could be the case. Now, I don't really know how it's going to work out in terms of Revolver switching to the good side. What I believe is that if he does lose this duel, which I really don't want him to, but if he does lose this duel, then he sits out. He's probably mind screwed right now. I was going to say the F word, but nah. He's going to be completely mind effed to the point where he forgets. He's going to have to sit down. Very similar to Jinochi, where he lost his Red Eyes White Dragon. Pardon me. Red Eyes Black Dragon of the Rare Hunter. And he totally dismissed Shizuka's eye operation and went to the beach because he was lost. When you have a character like Jinochi who is so strong-willed, who of course gets off task, who of course loses motivation, and it's very sad, but at the same time, a day, or for this instance a chapter or whatever in the manga goes by, and this doesn't happen in the manga, it's filler, but whatever, an episode goes by, Jinochi snaps back into it because he's a character that's been through a lot. He has a lot of strong will, and if Jinochi can get penetrated, a shield that's basically from his character that seems unbreakable, then Revolver can get penetrated as well. And with this, Revolver sitting out, or sort of just trying to find himself for several episodes, or possibly a set of episodes, like 10, 11, or 15 rather, somewhere around there, and then Specter comes in and plots his schemes, that's the perfect time, I think, to make Specter get that leadership and fulfill his goals, which could be that he wants to destroy Link VRAINS, or he has some other hidden agenda, which could be that he wants to rule Link VRAINS. Now, that might be weird. Maybe he wants to rule it and take full leadership of it and sort of cement his thoughts on this whole internet versus real life, which Revolver has, and his motives, and how he thinks that people can stop using the internet a lot and really be going into the real world. And maybe that's where Specter steps in and takes over the mantle of Revolver and becomes the ruler of Link VRAINS, and he takes over, and what he does is he starts spreading out these rules, or controlling the people, because if he does win, or if he does finally get to his schemes, then he has full control, and he's trying to tell these people to stop using the internet, to go into the real world, appreciate Den City rather than Link VRAINS. And then this is where our plot happens for Yusaki Fujiki and Soul Technology and the Charisma Duelists. This is where they come in and they try to stop Specter from trying to reach his goals, and that is basically the remaining plotline for this arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, which could possibly be around 30 to 20 episodes. However, though, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below on what could be the motives for Specter if he does take over and become the leader of the Knights of Hanoi, along with should he be the successor to Revolver, the person to take over. And to be honest, the more I watch VRAINS and the more the episodes come out and the more we learn about the leader of the Knights of Hanoi and what he's after, and how there is some family issues going on between him and possibly Soul Technologies, I'm starting to become more reasonable about this theory. Anyway, please do comment your guys' theories down below. Check out the Facebook and Twitter fan page regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. Leave a like. See you guys later, and have a great day as always.